This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition.
We had a service call that exhaust fans aren't working right. They seem to think that it's not moving the air it should be. So they're not complaining about this hood. This one's running. These are all direct drive fans, but this one's not running. This one is running. This was the area they were complaining about. So first thing is we're gonna check the switch. Well, that seemed pretty easy. Okay, but was it left off for a reason? There's a bunch of stuff blowing out too. It looks like it's been off for a while. I don't know what that's about. It also sounds really loud, but I'm gonna open it up to make sure there's nothing stuck in the fan, just investigate everything. So this has good hinges on it, so there's nothing stuck in the fan. It's hard to say because it's not like super clean. If it was super clean, I'd wonder if the grease cleaners turned it off. I mean, maybe it was cleaned. I guess it's not that bad. Well, we're gonna turn it on. I'm standing back because I don't want it to blow stuff on me. Interesting. I wonder, and this thing's got a grease problem. Huh, yeah, look at this one. The spot up here is missing its sealant and it's leaking grease everywhere. So this fan needs to be replaced. You're not gonna get that all sealed back up with the grease, it's nasty. This one, that whining sound is the motor going bad. I just have experience with these guys. But I'm assuming maybe the grease cleaners left it off. But the crazy thing is that it's not very clean. I mean, it's kind of clean, I guess. Well, look at this one. This one's also missing. Come over here, look at this. This is missing too. So yeah, this fan's trashed. But we're gonna, oh, there's the piece right there. Looks like it fell out. Okay, well, I'm gonna get information off of both of these fans. Well, it's early in the morning and we're back. We got two exhaust fans we're gonna be replacing. This one right here, and this one right here. We're gonna knock these out and go from there. As far as the electrical, just unhook it right here. Yeah, you can leave it, this conduit's bad, so just leave it on there. So just unhook it down here, get this fitting off of here, pull the wire out, undo the wire nuts, and then we'll hook the new one up to that. And yeah, we'll be good to go. This thing's trashed. This thing has a motor going bad. All right, well, we're gonna knock it out. Wait. So we got the fans up, but I just realized, I knew that some of these we're gonna have to take off that first adapter curb because this is going to that first adapter curb. We gotta hope we can do that today because there's brackets that are welded on we might have to cut off. So we're gonna get into that real quick. We're kind of under pressure, but we got about an hour before these fans have to be running. So let's see what we can do here. We had to be very careful, but we cut everything off that we needed to safely. And we just gotta make sure it all seals like it's supposed to. But this is their critical fan. This one's not critical, so that's what we're working on this one first. We're just about done, but it's crazy because both of these fans, the wheels were hitting the internal assembly on startup. Tap, 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 tap. So I had to come in here, 4 bolts right there, right there, right there, and move the whole assembly because the wheel wasn't centered over the cone in the bottom of the base plate. Never had that with the green necks before. That surprises me because usually they do really good quality on these. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I started it up. But other than that, we're just about done. We're just doing the hinges on this one. Electrical's done on this one. Got the conduit strapped. Electrical's done on this one. Got the conduit. We got to put that box cover on. But yeah, everything's running. Even got spare belts in these guys. Had them in the van right down there. So sweet. All right, we are operational. Everything's good. Fans are together. I just realized I gotta fix this. There we go. Fans are together, hinges are put together, grease traps. We put the diapers in the grease traps. They're running. Everything's good. These guys are good to go. Customer's gonna be super happy. The only thing I wish that GreenHeck, and I've said this before, GreenHeck had the little 90-degree rubber fittings like Captive Air does, but I think someone told me the part number for the Captive Air one, so I should probably just order those and then put those on these GreenHeck fans. But yeah, that's good. So we still got 2 Cook fans left on the roof. You know, when time comes, we'll change them over to GreenHeck if we can. And yeah, we'll go from there. Now, the reason why I stay with GreenHeck and not go to Captive Air or one of the other ones, the last time I tried to order Captive Air, they gave me a bunch of crap about getting belt-driven fans. So again, I haven't tried too hard since then. I don't like putting VFDs in the exhaust fans. The Captive Airs with the direct drive fans come with the VFDs and you just mount them in here. In my experience, in my area where it's really hot, I just worry about that. So I prefer to go belt driven because I can pick up the motor for this at any one of my local supply houses and be back here within a couple hours versus some of the OEM direct drive motors. I don't stock those and neither do my normal supply houses. Now I realize the Captive Air guys will probably comment that they stock them locally and I could always reach out to them. That's great, but when I need a fan on a Friday night running, I can open up a refrigeration supply house and have the part within a couple hours. That's why I tend to stay with belt-driven fans and going away from the direct-driven ones. These ones right here are direct drive fans. The variable frequency drives have all been taken out. They have normal motor starters running them. And when those motors fail, it's really difficult to get the C-frame motors locally, the right ones. It's a pain in the butt separating the wheel from the hub. This right here is super easy when you have a motor fail. And we do see a lot of failure rates with our dirty power system here in Southern California. So my personal preference, no offense to anybody that doesn't understand that or doesn't run that way, that's just how I run. I want to make sure my customers are successful because their success is my success, you know, if I do things right. So that's my 2 cents on why I stick with the GreenHeck fans that have belt driven. Now, maybe, again, it's been a long time since I've talked to Captive Air. Maybe they're doing belt-driven again. But last time I talked to them, they were really pushing away from getting belt-driven fans. So, you know, I still like these. Now, I know eventually GreenHeck will go to belt-driven too. I mean, direct drive. And I know you can order GreenHeck direct drive. And when you need their motors, it's a pain in the butt too. Because none of the supply houses stock them. So that's why I don't like the direct drive. Because I want my customers to be up and running as fast as possible. That's just my thing. So, and I don't want to have to stock the exhaust fans at my shop. That would be the alternative. Just stock the motors for the Captive Air fans. But I have way too many exhaust fans out there to stock all the motors for all that different stuff. That's way too much for me to sit on that money and just sit in my shop collecting dust. Let me know in the comments what your feelings are on that. What you guys do. Are you guys going all direct drive, sticking with the Captive Airs, leaving the VFDs inside the fan themselves? What are you doing? And then the other thing about the VFDs and the fans is, in theory, you really should be given a start-stop signal, because I've done the Captive Air ones back when I used to have another customer that had a lot of Captive Air. And if you want to do it right, you need to have a micro switch in the power switch right here, running downstairs to the VFD where the VFD is in the motor starter cabinet, and you need to give it a stop signal instead of just turning the VFD on and off. It's better for it to get a stop signal. Then the VFD stays energized, the cooling fan stays running on the VFD, and then it just ramps down because it gets a stop signal. So it does require a little bit more wiring. I totally understand if it's a brand new build, brand new startup, I would probably consider going direct drive with VFDs if you can locate them down in the motor cabinets like Captive Air does do on their, build to order fans. But on the, replacement fans, the VFDs come inside the exhaust fan, and I just don't like them getting that hot and that greasy. It just creates a problem. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I really appreciate you, and hope to catch you on the next one. So the original call was that the exhaust fan wasn't working, and when I got up there, I found that the power switch was off. Don't know why it was off. Who knows? I don't know if the manager was up there. I don't know. I don't understand. But regardless, the power switch was off. And once I made sure nothing was wrong with the fan, we turned it on, and the fan was working. It was making a loud screaming sound, the motor. And I know that sound. It's the motor starting to go bad. But then on top of that, the fan next to it was leaking grease. It had that exhaust vent port, whatever, missing from it that I found on the ground. This particular customer is lately very proactive on exhaust fans. My only assumption is that nationwide they've had a few restaurants that maybe had to shut down because of exhaust fan issues. And they have been on us like, basically, if you find any deficiencies with the exhaust fans, let's get them replaced, get new ones installed, because they don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. So of course we bring everything to the customer's attention. More so than a management level, on a corporate level. Corporate's the people that are telling us, like, make sure that if they need exhaust fans, let's get them done. I swear I've changed more exhaust fans this last year, 2025, than I've ever changed in a previous year. It's insane how many exhaust fans we've been replacing. But regardless, we're thankful for the work. And, they don't want exhaust fans leaking grease on the roof. It's leaking from the seals. They want them replaced. They just want it eliminated. They don't want fire hazards. They don't want any of that stuff going on. They're really on top of their restaurants lately, and they're wanting to get everything back into shape, which is a breath of fresh air because, however many years we are from COVID, it's like finally starting to get a lot of these buildings back into shape and back to the way that they used to be, where they were in really good shape. Obviously, COVID happened, and then repair and maintenance just like hit a brick wall because nobody knew what was going to happen and all that craziness, right? So we went ahead and talked to the customer. We quoted 2 new exhaust fans. They approved the replacement. We went back out, we replaced them, and you guys saw the whole install. Now, I mentioned in the video, I'll say it again, I really like the belt-driven fans for the simple reason that, if a motor's going bad, it's not so difficult to change it. Now, if you find one of these direct drive fans, for instance, this exhaust fan, to change this exhaust fan, you need a really long extension to be able to get in there with an Allen set all the way in there. You really need to be able to get torque on it to bust the wheel free. Then when you get the wheel free, you have to put airbags or something between the wheel and the exhaust fan to evenly pry the wheel off of the exhaust fan. Also, to do that, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've done one, but if I remember right, I think you have to take the whole exhaust fan apart too, like the whole mechanism and everything. It's just a nightmare. It is ridiculous how difficult it is to change a motor on one of these exhaust fans, okay? The hardest part usually is getting the wheel separated from the fan itself. Excuse me. Whew. I'm exhausted. It's been a long while, and I'm actually just getting ready. This is the Friday before AHR. I'm actually making the last video so that way I can have this scheduled. I think this is going to post after AHR, but just getting everything ready. Packing, all that stuff, so it's kind of chaos. I'm tired. It's been a long week. But regardless, we got the customer back up and running, and I just want to make it known that I'm not just changing an exhaust fan because a power switch was off, okay? When I turned it on, you could clearly hear the whistling, whining sound coming from the motor. The motor itself is going bad, but then on top of that, the fan next to it was leaking grease and everything. So, this is all, the customer understands everything that's going on here. I'm not just going out there just changing an exhaust fan because a switch was off or something like that, okay? And we certainly could have turned that back on and it would have ran probably for a while. But again, we bring that stuff to the customer's attention. When you have a motor starting to go bad, it's better to get it replaced before it dies, as opposed to having it die and then the restaurant either having to shut down or having to swap fans like you saw in one of my previous videos. kind of chaos. So customers really proactive in that, and they're really on top of changing out these exhaust fans lately. So hey, I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments, what's your preference? Do you guys prefer the direct drive, or do you guys prefer the belt drive? The belt drive, less to maintain. You don't ever have to change belts. I get that. But I worry about the variable frequency drives that a lot of the manufacturers shove inside the exhaust fans, such as captive air. Relocating those downstairs is a lot more difficult than you think it is, because you really should have a micro switch. Like if it's, for instance, a captive air fan, to do it right, you need to have the VFD installed downstairs in the motor starter cabinet. Then you need a micro switch up in the exhaust fan at the disconnect switch, so that when you shut off the exhaust fan, it sends a stop signal down to the VFD. That way it powers or stops the VFD, because you're really not supposed to be starting these up, shutting them off at the emergency power switch on the roof when the VFD still got proper power applied. Supposedly it can kind of mess with some things. I'm not super knowledgeable on the VFDs, but I just know that they really want you running that stop signal. That way you're not messing anything up. Regardless, I just prefer having belt driven because it's so much easier. Yes, you do have to change a belt, but like I said in the video, it's just easier to change a motor in the long run, and motors go bad. That's a really common thing. So I really appreciate you making it to the end. Again, thank you so very much. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Great way to help support the channel. A couple other ways to help support the channel. The easiest way is just watch the videos from beginning to end. Try not to skip through anything. And you can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise such as these hats available. Great way to help support the channel. In the show notes of this video are links to PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. And last but not least, you see any cool tools that I use in my videos, a good majority of the time I pick them up from TrueTechTools.com. I'd highly suggest you go check them out. If you find something you like their pricing, put my offer code in at checkout, which is big picture, one word, no spaces between big picture. And majority of the time that offer code will get you a nice discount. There's a few things it doesn't apply to, but when that discount is applied, I also get a small commission because it's an affiliate commission. So it's a great way to help support the channel. Again, thank you so very much. I hope to catch you on the next one.